First up on the show, a series of Israeli airstrikes on the southern Gaza town of Rafah have killed at least 52 people. And as per Gaza officials, the strikes hit 14 homes and 3 mosques in different parts of Rafah. Mediators held new talks in Cairo for a pause in the fighting and the release of around 130 hostages Israel says are still in Gaza, including 29 thought to be dead. Hamas seized over 200 hostages on October 7th and dozens were released during a one-week truce in November. Now, Hamas's military wing on Sunday said 2 hostages had been killed and 8 others seriously wounded in Israeli bombardment in recent days. The group's claim has not been independently verified. However, 2 Israeli hostages have been rescued from Hamas captivity in early this morning. Israeli military says they were being held in Rafah. Now, Netanyahu is facing calls for early elections and mounting protests over his administration's failure to bring home the hostages. In the war zone, combat on Sunday seemed intense several kilometers to the north of Khan Yunis city. Israel's military said troops were conducting targeted raids in the west of Khan Yunis, southern Gaza city's main region. Hamas said dozens of bodies had been found in Gaza in the coastal strip's north after Israeli ground troops withdrew from the area. In a statement, the group said most of them were martyred by bullets from snipers. Now, since the start of the war, violence has also surged on the occupied West Bank region. The Israeli army said troops near Bethlehem shot a man who tried to stab a soldier on Sunday. The same day, Israeli police said officers shot dead a knife-wielding suspect in East Jerusalem's Old City. And for the very latest on this, our correspondent Jody Cohen has sent us this report from Kfar Saba in Israel. We asked her about the reports coming in on the hostages rescued.
Right, so Israel woke up to the news that 2 hostages have been rescued in an IDF operation in Rafah. These are 2 men in their 60s, one from a kibbutz by the Gaza border and one from here in Kfar Saba, where I've been speaking to local people who are very happy, and you can see flags and signs have been put up across the city. But Hamas has said that around 100 Gazans were killed in this operation. Israel has said that Hamas doesn't distinguish between civilians and Hamas fighters in their numbers, that they came under intense gunfire and many terrorists were killed. On the 7th of October, Hamas, remember, took 250 hostages. 134 are still being held captive in Gaza and thought to be held in Rafah. President Herzog has said that Israel will continue until all the hostages are brought back home. Hamas has said that Israel's offensive in Rafah would end hostage release deal negotiations, and Egypt has reportedly told Hamas that they have 2 weeks to reach a hostage release deal before the IDF's on-the-ground operation in Rafah would begin.
Well, we also asked Jody to give us details about Israel's planned operation in Rafah in Gaza. Listen in.
Right, so Prime Minister Netanyahu has said that the IDF has defeated 3/4 of Hamas's battalions, and their next step is to destroy the last quarter who are in Rafah. Hamas is said to be hiding among the civilian population, and Netanyahu has called for plans to be drawn up to evacuate civilians before the on-the-ground IDF operation would begin. Now, the Biden administration has expressed concern about the Rafah operation because of the civilians there. Jordan's King Abdullah is going to be at the White House on Monday, and he's reportedly going to be lobbying for a ceasefire. Netanyahu has suggested that because of the population size, Hamas's 7th of October attack was like 29 9/11s, and that other countries' responses, including the US, would be the same as Israel. He also said that those who tell Israel not to enter Rafah or who call for a ceasefire are basically supporting keeping Hamas in power. Now, prominent commentator Yaakov Katz has said that asking Israel not to enter Rafah is like asking the US to leave ISIS in Mosul in 2017. He suggested that countries should be pressurizing Hamas to release the hostages and to surrender, and that pressurizing Israel is playing into Hamas's hands.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.